If you haven't seen already, I've been busy building my theme park here in Planet Coaster 2. In the last episode, we started building the Wild West area and the overall town that you'll walk into when you first enter the area. In this episode, we will be finishing off that area and also starting the rest of the theming over on the Gerstlauer Eurofighter. So join me in this video. Starting off here in the town area, where I realised in the last video that I forgot to put in one key detail that a lot of kind of Wild West towns have, and that being a bank. So that's what you're going to see me starting here, which is building this bank. I do think the building looks a little bit too modern for the kind of age of the Wild West I was going for, but I still think it fits in. It still looks good. But it looks a bit like a bank. I mean, you could argue it's not really the like kind of bank-esque kind of thing you would see, but as you can see here, I'm just putting in the roof already. You'll see I put yeah, as you can see there, I'm putting the awning on that. That does go around the whole building, and this is where I kind of create a little kind of undercover area, which is obviously where you'd enter the bank. You'll also see I put a notice board out the front of the bank later on. This is to kind of tie into the kind of RMC coaster that I was going to build in the next video, just purely because I kind of want to put this big lake in the next video and then have the kind of outback kind of area, kind of derelict kind of out like Wild West kind of area right at the back and in the next video. So it's kind of linking to that. Like a name I kind of came up with was Iron Bandit, and I kind of put these posters around saying that there's this bandit wanted and that people are trying to find this man, and then you're obviously riding Wild Bandit, so it all kind of ties into the area really well. That's the kind of name that I want to go for with the RMC coaster. One name that I'm not too sure on is the name for the Gerstlauer Eurofighter in this area. It's all themed around the sawmill and around these, like I said in the last video, these rich people coming in and taking all the resources, which is why you'll see there's a lot more like cactuses around, and then around the kind of ride area there's a lot more like trees, but there's still not loads, and it's all kind of dying around it. There's some more cactuses around that area that you'll see me put in later. So yeah, that's the kind of theme I wanted to go for, but I'm not too sure on a name. So if you guys have any ideas for a name, please let me know. That's the kind of backstory for it. That's kind of what I wanted to go for there. But I'm sure you guys will come up with some great names, so just let me know what you would call it down below, and I might pick one of those names. As you can see here, I'm just finishing the overall kind of shape of the building, and you'll see I start putting the details on the building as well. It does sit slightly further in front of the kind of town hall area, but I think it looks great where I've put it, and you'll see me put in the path a bit later on, and you'll also see me in another clip on this time lapse put in the entrance to this town, just because I kind of thought I wanted to separate it from the sawmill, and also as you walk in I kind of wanted that big kind of focal point that kind of hides some more of the buildings, as I kind of saw after building the first part of this, that obviously all the buildings, that you can kind of see them a bit too much for what I wanted to go for. So you'll see me put in this big kind of entrance archway, which I think helps the area and brings it a bit more character and a bit more life. So yeah, as you can see, I've just put these windows in and the lanterns. And one thing I realised I didn't really do, which is kind of what Wild West's towns in this area kind of had, was a lot more of like the American flags, and kind of is a bit more patriotic, which is what you don't see on other buildings. So I might go back at a later date and just off camera add in a few more banners around the area and stuff like that. But yeah, you can see here I've just put in the sign for the bank there. And as you can see, I'm just putting in some more scenery onto the building, because I didn't really want it to look too bare and barren, which is what a lot of like buildings kind of look like. They kind of got a couple of windows on them and that's it. But as you can see, I'm putting in this notice board that does say that the bank is closed. In the kind of story of the area, you can kind of say that the kind of bandit robbed the bank and took all the money, so now it's closed. I wanted like little details like this, like little bits of storytelling, are kind of what I love about places like Epic Universe and the Disney parks. Is every little thing links to a bigger story going on, and that's kind of what I wanted in this area. So that's what's going in there. As you can see, I'm just moving it to make it look a little better, and that's what I mean by it sticks out slightly more than the town hall. But as you can see, I'm just trying to put in the path. Now, I will say one thing. I know people rant and rave about how good this pathing system is this year. I'm not a massive fan of it. I do like the stamping tool. I think that's a good new addition. But the overall kind of way you do paths now is a little bit more annoying, purely just because you can't move on a free axis anymore like you used to be able to in the last game. Now it's kind of, you can't use your arrow keys to move and get the right angles and stuff like that. You kind of have to do a bit of guesswork. But I still think it's a good path tool. But I do feel like there's still some additions that they could make to make it even better. Moving on here, you can see I'm now putting in the entrance archway for the overall town area. I do call it the town of Westwood. It sounds a little bit like Westworld if you've seen that TV series, but it's not inspired by that. It was just something that I realised it sounded like. But it's the name of the sawmill that I came up with. I kind of thought, if I was a rich owner, I would build the overall sawmill near that and call it the same thing. So that's called the Westwood Sawmill, and it's near or in the town of Westfield, which kind of ties everything together again, which is kind of what I wanted to do. But moving on to something else that I wanted to talk about, it's the next area of the park. Now, that's not going to be for, I think, another 2 episodes. Obviously, in the next episode, I'm going to be building the RMC coaster and theming it. And then in the video after that, I'm going to be completing the whole western area. But the next area, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to tease it at the end of the last video of the western themed area. But the concept I've come up with is really cool. It's one of my favourite things, and I know I said that, and I think I said this in the last video, but I know I said I wanted to go with themes that were in the game, but I've kind of come up with this idea now, and it's something that I think would be really, really cool to have in the area, or in the park, sorry. I won't tell you what it is. I'm really excited for it though. It's going to be really cool. It's going to feature, the next area is going to feature a coaster, it's going to feature a dark ride. There's so many things that are just going to come together really well, and I'm really happy and really excited to go ahead and build this area. I hope you guys will enjoy it as well. It's one of my favourite things. I can't really say too much about it because otherwise I'll give it away of what it's themed to or what it could possibly be themed to, but you will find out in the next, not the next video, but the video after that. So in, I think, a couple videos time. But while I've been rambling on there, you've seen me start to theme around the kind of entrance area to the sawmill. Obviously I was nattering on way too much about the next area, but yeah, as you can see here, I've kind of wanted to make it look like they're cutting down the trees. So I've obviously put some trees that have fallen down that they've cut down. I also wanted to put in like some already cut up logs that they've obviously put together from cut down trees, just to show that they are taking away everything from this area. So that, as you can see here, I then wanted to build this kind of conveyor belt, and I'd like this. It's kind of similar to what most places have. That you know, it's like on the wheels and it pushes it out. And I wanted to like have it so like they would come out of this building and they'd be cut up and then sent to either build houses or to potentially use as firewood, stuff like that. That's kind of what I wanted to go for. That's kind of what this is here. It's kind of like a table saw in a way, but on a conveyor belt and on a much bigger scale. So you're seeing that coming together now. It does the job. It doesn't look great. It does look a little bit too modern for the area, I think. But I kind of wanted to put it in anyway, just because it was one of those things that I thought a sawmill like this would have. And I don't know whether a sawmill would necessarily have been built in terms of the time frame, like the time or the era I've gone for, but I think it looks good. I think it kind of fits the overall area and idea I had for the overall theme of the western area really well. You'll also see the flat ride I've put in there. That's still up for debate whether it's staying or not. It does look good where it is. It's just, I know I need to put a like kind of what Disney would call a berm behind it to like keep you immersed in the western themed area rather than seeing the parking lot and the road that everyone comes in on. So I don't know whether that's going to stay, but let me know what you guys think as to whether I should put the berm and I should keep the flat ride there. I could keep the flat ride and put it on the other side of the pathway, but obviously the other side of that flat ride is going to be the kind of the kind of abandoned western town that's just near where I'm going to be building the RMC coaster. So just let me know what you guys think of that and where you think I should put it. But I've also started here now on the exterior of the building a little bit. Not too much, just to put those doors in, because I was thinking that it doesn't look the best with the kind of gaps in the exterior of the building. As you can see, I'm putting in this digger to like digging up the ground and, you know, really taking everything out of this area that they possibly can. Some shovels in the ground there, some pickaxes. They haven't actually got an axe in the game, which is kind of what I needed for this area, which is like an axe for them cutting down the trees and chopping the wood up into smaller pieces for like firewood and stuff like that. But they don't have an axe, and I kind of wanted to keep away from the workshop as much as possible. I know I've got some like test seats from there, and I've got some I've actually got the portals off of the workshop just because I was struggling with trying to build them, and there's some great ones on the workshop, so I took them, and I will try and find who made the stuff that I put in from the workshop into these areas, and so you guys can go and download them for yourselves, and also so they get like the glory, so to speak. And like I said, I'm not claiming they're mine, but some people might think they're mine if I don't say that they're someone else's. So yeah, I want someone to get the praise that they deserve. But as you can see here, I'm putting in the foliage. As you can see, not as much as you would think for like for what is right near the entrance to the park, which is very which is full of kind of loads of planting and trees and foliage, whereas this is a lot more kind of starting to become derelict and worn away and not as vegetated as the entrance area. As you can see here, I'm putting in the right entrance and exit signs for the actual Gerstlauer itself. I like the look of these, obviously using the logs to theme it, to keep it within the theme of the sawmill, and also to like kind of show you that they are cutting down everything and using it for other reasons rather than keeping it all and they're taking it all from themselves. But as you can see here, there's no like big entrance kind of portal, so to speak, like there is on Hercules and Atreus, where you walk through a kind of grand building before you kind of go through into the queue line. This is just very much the entrance and the exit kind of signage. But as you can see here, I am building the exterior of the actual sawmill now, and I debated for a while as to whether to put windows on this as would a sawmill have them, but then I decided if I don't put them on, it's not going to look the best, as I wasn't sure what else I would put on the exterior of this building. But yeah, moving on to another thing, there is going to be a railway track, or a like railway that goes around the middle of the area, so to speak, rather than the outside. Kind of similar to the People Mover in a way, where it's not a transportation ride, it's more of like a filler kind of dark ride, or like ride that you would go on to get a tour of the area. I haven't decided whether I'm going to put it on the ground or whether I'm going to put it suspended, kind of like the Disney Railroad, or whether I'm going to do it similar to the likes of the train at Drayton Manor or the train at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with that yet, but once I have, I will obviously show it in the time lapses and show you guys what what the kind of ideas I had for that. But yeah, as you can see here, I'm just putting in more of the kind of windows and theming on the exterior of the building. There are going to be POVs. There's going to be a daytime and nighttime POV. There is no real-time section for this video, just purely because I haven't had time to, and also I wanted to save like a big real-time portion for the last video of the Western area, so I can show you guys everything it had to offer. But we are coming towards the end of the time lapse, so if you have enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, as it greatly helps me out and it is greatly appreciated. Stay tuned for more Planet Coaster content on the channel, and also more Planet Coaster content from this park here. But let me know down below what you would call this Gerstlauer Eurofighter, and what else you'd like to see in the area. Obviously, ideas on the flat ride, where you think I should put it, whether I should keep it or move it inside. But yeah. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I will see you in the next video. Please enjoy the POVs that are on the end. There's a daytime and nighttime one for you guys. And until the next video, goodbye.